Iqra's been a very creative soul ever since she was a little girl.
I've always been really passionate about art since I was a kid. I've always felt like I could express my identity through art and creativity. I'm Iqra and I'm a digital artist. So ever since I was a kid, I've always loved doing arts and crafts, you know, getting messy with art supplies and things. I wasn't the best at like drawing specifically as a child, but I always enjoyed the process. And ever since I've gotten older, I think it was around 3 years ago, where I told myself I'm gonna get better at digital art, and ever since then I've self-taught myself how to draw, how to stylize my art in different ways, you know, gaining inspiration from my own cultural heritage, and alhamdulillah, it's been such a pleasant and really enjoyable and educational journey for me. Do you think the green works or something?
I think you need some blue, definitely some blue, yeah. Really, Iqra is my niece, she's my sister's daughter, and I remember at the age of 4 she was asked to draw somebody from her family at school. Iqra chose me, which really annoyed her mother, my sister. She wouldn't buy the picture. My mum, Iqra's grandma, then bought it, and it was just splodges of paint, but it was of a person, and she used purple, which is my favourite colour.
Yeah.
And then I think you need something. I think you need something in the centre of it.
Yeah.
Too much that. Okay. So my earliest memory of Iqra is that in terms of art, and she has come leaps and bounds since then.
So a lot of my influences, it comes from a variety of different sources. So I look a lot at comic books, I look a lot at manga, different manga art, how they're stylized. I also look a lot, recently I've been looking a lot at my own culture, my own heritage, and what sort of patterns derive from there that I can include. I also love looking at video games. So when a video game comes out or it's on Steam and I like the art of it, you know, I'll look into it, I'll look at, you know, who designed it, I'll look at how is the whole game stylized, and then I'll sort of think to myself, you know, how can I translate that in my own art? My art in general, I think, is very sort of anime-esque in terms of like when I'm drawing characters. It's very sort of, I wouldn't say realistic, it was not really realistic, it's sort of, it's quite stylized in the sense that you would think that it's from like an anime series. So I look at a lot of sort of anime artists who have drawn some of my favourite manga series, like Gege Akutami, who does Jujutsu Kaisen. That's one of my favourite manga series at the moment. I love their artwork, and so I sort of draw inspiration from different artists for my own sort of work.
So Iqra has so many characters, so many diverse powers. Actually, do you know what? It's better to get it from the creator herself. Iqra, come over. Talk to me about your Zari. I love her because she's perfect. purple.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm a little bit lost.
Yeah.
Talk to me about her powers and what she does.
So powers-wise, she has illusion-based powers. She excels in doing like the most complicated.
What, like washing the dishes?
In terms of like her powers, she's
Yeah.
very creative with that kind of thing, and she also has a carpet on her back because she's an aspiring carpet racer. So
Carpet racer?
yeah, she's an aspiring carpet racer.
Okay.
So she can oftentimes like integrate her powers with her carpet to do like really cool sorts of like tricks and stuff.
Okay.
Within like the Darjan universe, there's sort of like a power system called Ember. She doesn't have that because she is not fully human. That's where her illusion powers come from. It's from that non-human side of her.
Wow, I'd love to be her.
For me, as someone who grew up with characters who barely looked anything like me or had any sort of connection with my identity, it was, it was integral for me to have that included in my own characters. So in my artwork recently, I've been looking a lot at sort of like the textiles and embroidery work of Pakistan. I'm Pakistani, and just looking at it online and just doing the research on these different types of embroidery styles, the architecture, the textiles is so fascinating, and for me it builds that connection to my identity, and then it sort of gets me thinking, how can I sort of add a fantastical, a fantasy element to it? How can I incorporate this into my own work? So with my characters, their outfits are very inspired by Southern Asian fashion, not just Pakistan, but like all over. So one of them is very Punjabi inspired, like myself. So one of my character designs is very Punjabi influenced. Another character design is very sort of Rajasthani, Sindhi influence. So it's all of these sort of different Southern Asian influences that give sort of that authenticity to my work, and I feel that it's not every day that you're going to see such explicit like Southern Asian, South Asian fashion or influences within comics or media, and I think having that diversity, representation matters. And that's something that I take very seriously, and that I sort of try to translate into my own work, is that representation, and is that sort of building that cultural identity and giving the fantasy element to it.